All successful people have one thing in common, and that is they are addicted. You might say, no, to be successful, you have to be disciplined. You have to be a hard worker. Sure, you could say that as well. But a concept I'd like to raise to you is that, likewise, they are addicted. Because discipline and addiction are two sides of the same coin. They are inherently cohesive. But because we humans have language, we have words and meanings that we attach to them, we inherently view the word discipline as something as a noble idea, a noble thought, something that is looked upon as a great thing in life. Likewise, when we look at the word addiction, we inherently view it with negative connotations and something that we do not want in our life. Now, before we get to that, I'd first like to ask yourself, what in your life are you addicted to? It can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing. For instance, I know that when I was skateboarding a lot of my friends who were the best skateboarders were the ones who were completely addicted. It's the thing they did every day, the only thing they thought about. And because of that, they became so good at skateboarding. But if you ask them, they might not think, oh, I'm disciplined at skate. I'm a disciplined skateboarder. No, they just love doing it. They were just addicted to it to the point that they didn't even think about it. It was just their life. It was just their lifestyle. It's just what they wanted to do, so they did it. And likewise, when I was a teenager, I was addicted to work, okay? I was working 40 plus hours a week while still going to high school. And because of that, I became addicted. It became something that determined my self-worth, my self-value. And eventually, I did become a manager at 17. And I was managing adults at work while still being in high school and still being not even an adult. That being said, I don't want you to think that this was all sunshines and rainbows. Actually, it was probably one of the worst times of my life because I was a slave to that addiction. I was a slave to the money, to the work. So what I want to point you to is that, yes, we can get addicted to good things, but the inherent difference in these two sides of the coin is that discipline is something that we have an inherent power over. We have control over that. But addiction is something that we give our power up to, something that has control over us, right? So if you have an addiction to a good thing, it's not about saying, oh, I need to stop doing this or that. It's about taking back control of your life, taking back control of that. So if you're constantly in the office working every day and you hate it, take back that control of that. If you need rest, rest. At the end of the day, don't let that determine who you are. You determine what it is, okay? And, ultimately it comes down to, are you having too much of a good thing? Because yes, like making money, sure, it can be a wonderful thing. It can be a beautiful thing. It can be a powerful thing. But are you letting it determine who you are? Is it becoming the only thing that matters in your life? And that is what we have to ask ourselves as people, as individuals, is, does the money have power over me? Or do I have power over it? And that will be a determining factor in your inherent happiness in this life. So what are some things that we can, in our brain, get addicted to? Because here's the thing. When people hear the word discipline, I think they're inherently kind of turned off. Like, oh no, I have to go to the gym and be disciplined. No, you can go to the gym and be addicted. I'm serious though. Like, you want to go to the gym every day? Just try and go every day. I guarantee you, after a month, you're not going to want to skip a day. You're going to want to go to the gym every day because your body's going to feel good and it's naturally just going to be addicted to it. You're building that muscle. It's going to want to keep growing, right? Likewise, you can have that same mindset for money. You keep going at it every day, and it becomes your pattern, it becomes their habit, and you are inherently addicted to it. And when I say addiction, I don't even mean like in a bad way, because a lot of times people think of addiction, they think of a chemical addiction. But really, when I mean addiction, is just rewiring our brains, rewiring the chemical habits, the patterns within it, so that we become, creatures of habit towards good things, and not creatures of habit towards things that are destroying us. Okay? And not only is this something that's, a very grounded concept, but I think there are definitely spiritual aspects and spiritual ways you can look at this too. Because to get addicted to the process, to creating something, you are inherently aligning yourself with your dream, with your goal. Let's say that you want to become an NBA player, right? You know, not only is it about putting in the work, going to practice every day, and becoming addicted to playing basketball, but likewise it is a mental aspect of becoming addicted to it and becoming like so ingrained with that lifestyle and that culture that you have to be like, it's almost necessarily for you to reach that goal, because you are inherently addicted to playing basketball. And of course, that doesn't mean that we have to become like an unhealthy addiction. Rather, what I leverage is that how can we bring discipline to the addiction and addiction to the discipline? Can you see the thing in its entirety, or are you just going to see it as good and bad? And I think there's many things in this world that we should be looking at like that, rather than good and bad. Seeing it as its entirety, not as the black or white, but as the gray. You know? So when you want to connect with your goal, you want to connect with the vibration of your goal, connect with the entirety of that goal. The being, like your entire being is connected with that goal. And it doesn't mean that you inherently identify this as, your everything, or it determining whether you were a success or not. But rather changing your mindset and understanding that eventually I can enjoy things that maybe I inherently at the first try wouldn't like, because I kept going with it, because I've kept trying, because repetition creates addiction, and addiction can be disciplined. And that, I feel, for a lot of people, can be an easier path to going after things that they want, or things that are hard for them to go after. Because invoking the sense that you have to be disciplined inherently creates a lot of pressure and a lot of responsibility. But when you say, I'm going to be addicted to this, or I'm just going to enjoy it and go after it, you inherently shed the idea that it has a lot of weight, you know? It becomes something that is fun. And I don't want you to become like, okay, we're going to make money. I'm going to get myself addicted to making money. No, rather the contrary. I would say the ultimate advice I would have to you is to see this in entirety, but let go of it and just have fun with it. Understand that the process is the process. You keep putting in the work, you're going to become addicted to it. And if you apply a sort of organization to that, you will have discipline of that addiction. And therefore, you will become what you want to be. Is it not? Just through the process. So it's not about wanting to becoming anything. It's just about being that, doing it, and really just taking those steps and understanding that, this process is going to work out naturally, inherently, because that is how things work. So, now I ask you, what is it that you want to be addicted to? How are you going to do it? And how are you going to bring that discipline into that addiction? Thank you.